Both teams, they have 9 stocks in total. Fire Engine 7 going against the undefeated Avoid right now. He's on 2 stocks, so he's at a little bit of a disadvantage, but that doesn't take any time as he's already gotten a good bit of damage on the Link. Now, I do love seeing a good Link, as I just find it to be a very fun character to play in combo with on this, honestly. But it's sword against sword right now, as it's 37-67. This is a nice little parrying off. They are trying to keep their distance, as it seems Roy is noticing his opponent's strength and just trying to play it a bit more carefully. Having a good edge guard right there, but Link manages to make it back up. He is knocked into the air. He's at over 100%. One's wrong hit and he's knocked off the edge. But Roy isn't far behind right here, struggling on the edge right there. As he makes it over back into center stage, he knocks Link off the edge, barely being able to make it back on here, as they are both now at 100%. Ooh, this is getting more and more intense. Roy gets the fire sword and knocks him right off stage. Link is now down to 2 stocks, but doesn't leave Roy much room, as he's down to 1. It wasn't going to be much he was only able to do on 115, but now with the first reset, he can surely get another good stock off the Link here, as he's just powering up, it feels like, using his shield, and manages to avoid out that grab as Link rolls past him, gets a nice hit on his back. He manages to knock Link off there, off the side, as Link does a nice little recovery, knocking Roy off, and he cannot recover. That does not leave much, as the Pelicans are able to easily recover back from the 3 stocks they lost originally. Now this is leading up to a very similar, evenly matched. That was wonderful plays from that Link, as he was very decisive. He noticed how the Roy played in the first match right there and managed to circumvent and roll around. He got some really good hits and just played the long game, it felt like. He wasn't rushing in as much as that Roy was against the Mii Gunner. So I'm excited to see what else this Link could have as potential. Of course, we have to see what else Surge is going to bring out from the depths they have, as that Roy player was doing a lot of good damage for them. It is not much they have left here, as they will be getting into their second character, which is going to be a wonderful fight against both of them. And we have Yoshi coming into this, playing for the Pelicans. This is going to be wonderful, as we started going off, Link taking off the first stock, of course, to keep it even to how it was. Now, running into this with 2 stocks, he of course has to play a little careful, as he does not know what this Yoshi has in stock. I have seen some crazy Yoshis in this game, I will say. Sorry about that, folks. As we go into this, and we have Link getting a lot of damage done to him from the start. He's already at 72. This Yoshi is comboing him with ease in the air, but he's getting a nice little hit back in, throwing in Boomerang. He manages to, seems we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, as a connection error has occurred. Very sorry for that, folks. We'll get that fixed shortly. I hope everyone is staying nice and warm, as the storm that is about to approach will be hitting. It's going to be harsh this weekend, so make sure you stay in, possibly get a friend, and enjoy playing a few video games with them, or getting some quality bonding time, as that's what I personally like to do during these large winter storms. But hopefully we'll be going back into this very shortly. We do apologize for this small inconvenience, folks. As we saw, though, from that Yoshi, it was doing unrelenting damage and doing a nice little combo to keep Link in the air. Link was having a lot of struggle to even fight back, it felt like. But hopefully the Link won't be able to last like that for very much longer, and we'll be able to fight back in for the Pelicans. Well, not Pelicans, Surge, I believe. No, Pelican. Sorry, folks. The team names, they've got me a little confused there, but we're getting into it shortly. Very hectic game I have felt so far. And this is just the beginning. I'm excited to see how the 2 other rounds will go. Hopefully, they'll do their best, and we'll get to see who wins today, especially for week 2. They have a long road ahead of them for this whole mashup for Smash. But I'm sure they're practicing as much as they can, and they're playing as hard as they can. I'll say, personally, I feel inclined towards the Yoshi so far. I've really liked seeing a Yoshi player, as I haven't seen too many of them. I've seen a few. which were all correct, but I'm in particular to this Yoshi at this moment. Who knows? This link could change the tables. It could change the tables and lead into a wonderful match for their team. But of course, be getting into it shortly. A lot of good maps. A lot of good maps, I feel, for this gameplay. Battlefield, it's a classic. It's usually done for these competitions and held for all these events. It's the base. It's the base foundation for all of them, I feel. And excited to see us get back in. Seems Link was switched into Toon Link. Okay, we have Aereo coming in instead of Fire Engine. Sorry for that, folks. We have Emmy coming in with the Yoshi, of course, as the two stocks, getting a little bit of damage towards them already. But we have Aereo not going to allow what happened to Fire Engine happen to them. Already up to 18%, while Yoshi is up to 47%. Nice little combo move right there. Moving into this, we have Toon Link. He's keeping center ground no matter what. Throwing in a nice little bomb. Getting a nice little ignition on Yoshi as they're at 66%. They are taking a decent amount of damage and having to keep their distance greatly from Toon Link. Seems this is not the opponent and challenge that they were expecting in this current moment. So they're almost at 90% already. 99! This Toon Link with one easy hit can knock them off stage. They're at 122. The moment's getting more intense right here as we have Toon Link. He is keeping his strength as Yoshi is now down to one stock. This is getting a little scary for Emmy, and it seems that there's a little bit more connection error occurring, which is very unfortunate. I am excited to see how this game plays. Will Emmy be able to hold it in for them and be able to keep Yoshi in the game? They are struggling quite a bit, it seems, against Toon Link, playing very differently from what they were used to with normal Link. Now, personally, I was not expecting the change, but I'm all here for it. I said I couldn't be persuaded from voting for the Yoshi, but this Toon Link, he's throwing a good curveball, I feel. Throwing a lot of good, consistent, and concise damage. I'm just a big fan of how he's kept center. Like, he hasn't had to really leave much, and he's just throwing out these powerful moves. That Yoshi went off in an instant. They went from 47 to 122 in a blink of an eye, and that really costed them a stock, which was really unfortunate for their second player. Hopefully, of course, I am excited to see what else they could pull out. Of course, they have two more members that they could possibly play in for this 3v3, so it's a hectic situation all around, I feel. Of course, this Toon Link, I feel he could possibly stay in through this. He's played really good so far, and I don't have too much knowledge on Toon Links when it comes to the history of this game, but he's seeming a bit powerful at this moment, I'll be honest, folks. But I'm just really loving the play style from both teams, Pelican and Surge. They are doing really well. Of course, I talked about their history a little bit earlier, but I didn't go much into it. As we can pull up here real quick, we had Aereo from, of course, the between Surge, I believe, of course, they had a 4-2 in the fall season, which was really good for them. But unfortunately, they did not do well in they did not do well in the playoffs of their top 8 whenever they made it in the fall season. While on the other hand, the Pelicans, they struggled a tiny bit in their fall season, but they are back into it, having the Pyramithra pulled out on Toon Link. Okay, so they did switch out the Emmy on her Yoshi to Viper. It seems we're going to have a good play here as, of course, Toon Link getting down to his 2 stocks. So we start in right here. You can see Pyramithra playing, not even being able to play at the moment, as Toon Link getting some good damage already, 22%, going up to 33%. Pyramithra is just having to be stuck in the air at this moment. They are having to play very carefully against this Toon Link, it feels, because they are getting hit by every bomb I've noticed so far. Throwing in that fire sword, just not enough against the boomerang. As they manage to go against the opposite sides of the map right now. Toon Link getting a bit of damage right here, knocked up to 55%. The damage is equaled out right now. Holding on the edge, getting a nice throw off, going up to 66%. Toon Link getting knocked up to 76% right now. As we can see, blocking off, just keeping it back. he is noticing this Pyramithra playing very differently from how he was going against this Yoshi. Is the Pyramithra knocked up to 94% already. They are very close to being easily taken out by Toon Link right here. Although Toon Link is on the same problem right as we have, and at 102%. But Pyramithra getting 113, almost knocked off the side, managing to make it slowly back in as they're fighting for their life. They get grabbed, thrown off. Will they be able to survive as much longer? And 151, they are now down a stock. It is now 2v2. This Link, he's going to have to play a bit careful as he is 102. He is easily takeable right now as he's knocked off. Manages to do a good recover, does not allow that Fire Sword to knock him off any more than he is. See, knocked off the edge, but managing to slowly make a comeback. This is wonderful for the Toon Link as he is getting in some damage finally here at 131. That is such a high percentage. He has to be careful. I know I keep saying that, but I cannot emphasize. Aereo has been doing wonderful this match. It's knocking up Pyramithra up to 48%. The bombs, they're just colliding, coming out of his pockets. It is awful for him, but Pyramithra getting grabbed, knocked up to 71%. He is holding his own at this high damage. It is such a dangerous game he's playing here. Pyramithra almost knocked off the side of the stage at 105. Can she recover? She cannot recover! Link has managed to get off 2 stocks while at such a high damage. This is insane. We're going into this, having Toon Link getting knocked up into the air. It's a bit of damage. He finally loses the stock, but he to make sure he gets off this final stock of Pyramithra and win this round. He is not letting anything go without a grace as he's knocked up to 32% already. Now, Pyramithra knocked up to 44%, 58%, 65%. He has hit a bomb combo, knocking her up to 80. There is unrelenting damage being unleashed on this Pyramithra. I feel so bad for her right now as she is fighting with all she's got. It seems it's just not enough as Pyramithra knocked off the edge, managed to make a good recover, doing some good blocks, and gets a nice grab. Of course, Toon Link does a good recover. He is trying. He gets over on the other side. Seems going for a grab right here. Can he throw her off? No, he cannot. He's throwing a little bit of a bomb, possibly going in for another combo here. Almost blocking off the Fire Sword. Was not able to, getting a good grab, knocking her up to 132. This Pyramithra is going to have to play a bit more into her grabs. It seems to be her strong suit, honestly, here. We have Toon Link, of course. He's at 66 damage. They're both at 1 stock. It is anyone's game right here. This Toon Link, he needs to get this stock off to possibly equal out the playing field. And it seems that Pyramithra will carry and knock out. I could not believe it. I did not think she'd be able to pull it off so successfully, but we were able to get a wonderful game there in the end. It is now down to 6 stocks, I believe, for one team. I'm having a little trouble keeping up with it with all the lag mixing into this. I am sorry for this, folks, but hopefully we will figure out in this final match who will take in the first win of this best of 3. This is going to be wonderful, I feel. Of course, this Pyramithra, I am excited to see what else. She is 1 stock, of course. I'm not sure what she could have in this match, but she has to do what she can to get off more stocks. This is a stock for stock game, I feel, right here, and I'm pretty confident in their team. This Viper, of course, let me do a quick check, of course, to make sure I'm keeping on track with this. Yes, the Viper was for the Pelicans. Of course, we've seen their Emmy Avoid. Avoid was a wonderful player for them. They did lose that first match. And then we saw Emmy's Yoshi. They did wonderful. And then cutting over to Surge, we did see their Me Gunner, which was the first. And then we saw, of course, Brawler. Not Brawler. We saw Me Gunner, and then we saw Link, and then Toon Link. It was Link after Link. I was a big fan of Fire Engine, but I completely understand why they put in Arrow. I felt Arrow's plays for Toon Link was a bit better for their case and scenario right there. Hopefully we'll be getting into the next match here very shortly. Very sorry for this, folks. This game is so intense, I'm losing my voice a little here. Of course, we got a wonderful set of games coming up next, and I'm just hoping both teams are prepared for what is to come in. Alrighty, welcome back, folks. I am Fairfont, of course, now joined with my co-host Azure Melody. Welcome into the stream.
Hello, everybody. I apologize for how my camera looks at the moment. I'm having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues on my end. That's why it took so long for me to get here, but I am happy to be here, joined with Feral Phantom. I'm very excited to host, especially a Smash League. I started out in esports with a K12 Smash League, so I'm very excited to come back to it at this moment, be able to circle all the way back into being able to have a Smash League, being able to cast this. So I'm very excited for it. And as you can see, I really do apologize for my camera. I might just turn the camera off, in all honesty. It looks, yeah. But I was hearing a little bit about how the game went from Feral Phantom. It sounded like we had a Pyramithra that had previously taken stocks off of a Yoshi. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. As we're getting into the Roy versus Bowser. Okay, of course we're gonna have a Void here knocking off just a stock here as we go in. Bowser getting a bit of damage dealt to him already. We have a Void coming in from a previous game as we saw him playing as Roy previously. He was playing for the Pelicans, of course.
So now, Roy is a very aggressive character. He is a just burst in, get a super big combo, do a lot of damage, and maybe even kill you in just one interaction, because that sort of is very combo center, and he hits like a truck. So even though Bowser is a very heavy character that just will not die, Bowser's probably going to die to a lot of Void's shenanigans here, especially because Void is just also very, very fast. He's such a rush down burst character that can just do so much very quickly. It's very surprising.
Of course, it is also nice to see a Bowser, as I've seen some wonderful Bowser gameplay from myself, but it doesn't matter as the Bowser loses the stock there, playing into the tomfoolery as you were mentioning. Going into this as the Roy is at 64%, while the Bowser is still at 45. He is taking a lot of damage here while managing to get some good heavy hits and knocking the Roy at 106%. This is looking pretty bad for Roy right now as he's at 125 again.
Now, the big thing for big thing for Bowser here is that he has to get the kill now because another one of those neutral beats, and Roy will take the second stock, not even losing a stock yet, and Bowser's already down 2. Bowser has to look for it now, gets the side B in order to take it. So Roy is down. It is a 1-on-1, but this Roy has already taken 2 stocks while the Bowser has only taken 1. He's in a very good spot to take this.
Roy right there have to make a good recovery as he's just deflecting all that fire that Bowser's spitting out there. We see Bowser getting a good head stomp, knocking up to 70% already. He is going heavy for it, just smashing the same combo. He is doing everything he can to win this matchup.
Those Bowser grabs are going to be very good. As we see, it's already brought Roy up to 88. But again, Roy just needs a couple of hits here. I think jab F smash will just kill Bowser right here. But it seems like the Roy trying to go for a little bit of dancing blade, knock Bowser off the side, just try and get him into a good position. We've seen how these neutral beats have worked out. And as he gets the third, he gets the third for the last stock.
That was a wonderful play there done by the Roy. Only losing 1 stock there through that entire match. He was at 88%, and that Bowser was trying to get one final head hit off right there. But it was not working out for him in the end.
No, I mean, the Bowser continued to try and get back to stage, but the Roy was there ready on the stage with the neutral B, and that neutral B, that is one of the very few moves in the game that if just fully charged, will kill at 0. You just die at 0. So the Roy understood the power of it. He kept understanding how the Bowser was trying to recover, and he kept knocking him off of the stage. So it was very good plays by the Roy.
I was a big fan of that Roy. As I said previously, we saw him play against Link, and that was a sword versus sword match, and he did wonderfully in that. It seems this Roy really knows what he's doing and knows his combos well.
State of his character very well, but is that going to be enough to go against the camping machine that is Sonic?
Yes, I've heard the nightmares when it regards Sonic as they are quite a challenging opponent. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Actually, it seems that they killed
It very well
themselves a
could have
bit too
just
much.
been wrong controls.
Could possibly. But hopefully we'll get that sorted out very quickly. So going into a Sonic match, how are your opinions on it being a previous Smash player?
Especially with Roy, it's hard for me to tell because there's some matchups where Roy just kind of loses. Like, if you've ever seen Roy Kazuya play, every Roy player is dreading that. And Sonic is one of those characters where it's very awkward because Roy can keep up with Sonic, but at the same time, Roy can get very hard camped by Sonic and out like the recovery can just continue to be offset by the spring. It looks like we had the wrong stage. That was the issue. So
Ah.
going into this, the Roy has to try and keep up with the Sonic, not let him get his game plan off of a couple of hits and then camp. So it's going to be very hard for the Roy. But he starts out very strong with a good F smash lead.
That was a nice combo there, getting Sonic in the air, as he's managed to bounce right back into it, getting 16% on the Roy, knocking up to 23. He's playing a little bit of the slow game here, as Sonic's at 68. He's have to play a little careful here, but as long as he can get off this final stock of Roy, he'll know he's accomplished the game.
And I mean, he's continuing to try and use the spin dashes, and he's getting a lot of percent with it. The special are coming out, and he's looking for the neutral B to try and send Roy off stage. Any good hit with F smash or backer can take it. It does the Roy manage to recover the 2-frame coming out. Ooh, this is a very crisp 2-frame for the Sonic to take it fairly quickly.
It seems Surge will take in this next stock. Like, they are becoming undefeatable, it's feeling like, towards, unfortunately, Pelican. As I've mentioned earlier, Pelican did decently well in their winter stages, but the fall, I had those reversed. My apologies. The fall, they did really well in this winter. It's not seeming like the second round could possibly go to them.
Yeah, but they're going to have to try and find something here. But I believe they have one more character left, correct?
I believe so. Yes. It's been a little confusing since due to the connection errors, they switched out characters here and there, but I believe they do have one character in the bag before they take the round.
And it's
And we
Piranha
get
Plant. I've seen this matchup an odd number of times. I just want to comment on that fact. I don't know why, but I've seen this matchup at least 5 or 6 times, and I don't know why.
Oddly enough, I feel very strongly about the Piranha Plant in this game, as I like his moveset a lot, honestly.
He's very much a kind of joke character to be added in, but he's surprisingly strong, as you can see that up smash already taking the stock, only 20% on the Piranha Plant. Very, very strong start.
We see the Sonic needs to play a bit careful here, sticking to his roots, getting up to 69% on that Piranha Plant, as he's still at only 28%. This is a damage for the taking here.
As we continue to see the Sonic getting up in terms of percent, managing to find their way in just through all of these gaps, but the Piranha Plant still can get just a couple of strong hits. That's the thing about Piranha Plant. That Patui hits like a truck, and the down B going to try and continue it, not letting up the momentum, tries to find the F smash to end it out, but not going to connect, but the Patui continues to knock off anyways.
Both are over at 100%. This Piranha Plant gets off the stock at 126%. He is going to have to play extremely precise here.
Can I just say that was a raw down B? Holy crap, I did not expect that. That was such a crazy down B, and it worked out very well for the Piranha Plant, trying to go for another. Sonic already up to 37%, and it seems like the Piranha Plant is just in his head at this point. The Sonic is just trying to find any sort of kill, while the Piranha Plant just builds up this percent slowly but surely.
Piranha Plant doing a good hold on the edge, as he's holding at 162. I'd say that's insane. Does lose the stock, unfortunately, but that's a good reset for him, as he can easily take out this final stock on Sonic.
I mean, Sonic already up to 53% back on the stage, just trying to find anything, any sort of combo starter to get back into this, but Piranha Plant not letting him, still at 0%, finds a hit, but it's not going to connect into anything. The Piranha Plant is a very heavy character anyways, so even if Sonic manages to get a couple of combos, Piranha Plant's just going to live them anyways, and he's going to hit back twice as hard.
Hitting off that spike ball, knocking Sonic up to 100%. He is doing unreasonable damage towards this Sonic, as it seems the Sonic is trying to bear for any of the combos he knows. He's struggling at everything he has here, as this Piranha Plant gets off a good hit, almost knocking off Edge. Sonic's at 141% on his final stock. He needs to get off another stock of this Piranha Plant.
And he's continuing to keep it up, the momentum, 141, and a raw F smash to finish it, and that was a good F smash. He understood he needed to kill there, and he just went for the F smash anyway. It was a very risky F smash, but it paid off as the Sonic loses his stock and the Piranha Plant takes it.
That was such a beautiful play from Piranha Plant, as Sonic really tried everything he had, but it was no use for the Piranha Plant method, the Piranha Plant meta.
I mean, Piranha Plant, I think it's very weird, but I've seen a lot of Piranha Plants here in West Virginia especially, so the fact that I see yet another, this character, it feels oddly prominent, because, I mean, they just feel good to use. They have hard-hitting specials, they have hard-hitting normals, and while they don't have a huge combo game, their niche combos that they do have feel really fun to use. And we get to see, again, one of the very strong hitting moves of this game, Patui, which put in a lot of work for the Piranha Plant. Sonic continued to take about 20% for just each one of these one projectiles used, and he used it to such a good advantage.
I have to say, the Piranha Plant niche, it kind of reminds me of the dog hunt, not duck hunt, the duck hunt niche. I feel they're similar in their own ways here for Smash. Am I wrong on that?
I mean, they have a kind of similar place as their low tier characters, but Duck Hunt's very much seen as way better, and they rely very heavily on their specials. But Duck Hunt just has a little bit more in terms of everything. Like, Duck Hunt's just a little bit faster. He has a little bit better of a recovery. He has a little bit better combo. He has a lot better combos, actually. Never mind. Duck Hunt combos are kind of crazy. And I mean, it's very reminiscent of LAV, who is our resident Duck Hunt player here in West Virginia. He has played this matchup also a lot now that I think about it. And it's very much a matter of who can get their specials to hit first. If the Piranha Plant can get the specials to hit first, it's hard for Duck Hunt to come back, take the center stage, and then reset up his camping. But if Duck Hunt hits his specials first, it's hard for Piranha Plant to come back, take center stage, and begin camping. So they are some of their game plans are very similar in that way. I agree.
Well, I'm a big fan of it. I'm excited to see what we could see next from Pelican, as they are a really good team all around. Having that Roy, Piranha Plant, Pyramithra, and Yoshi, like that is a good, strong character roster, I feel.
Now hearing it out loud, that is a very interesting character roster. Pyramithra, Roy, Yoshi are very like hard hitting characters seen as pretty much top tier. I'm pretty sure. I don't know where Yoshi falls anymore, but Piranha Plant is definitely the outlier there, and it seems to be for a good reason, as he's put in quite a lot of work in this last game.
I was just a big fan of those plays. Very clippable moments, I will say there. But hopefully we'll be moving into the next game very shortly. Of course, we're just getting everything set it out, and I'm just hoping, it seems that they are actually finished. So this is wonderful to see. That it seems that Pelican takes it in for the win, I believe.
I mean, hey, they played really good there at the end. I mean, I unfortunately did not get to see all of it, but the way that they did play, you could see the strength coming off of the players. We saw that the Roy, even though they did lose some stocks to the Sonic, they played phenomenal against the Bowser, continuing to beat out his recovery, continuing to build up the percent. And then the Piranha Plant continued to just keep the Sonic in a loop. The Piranha Plant had so much of an advantage. She got into the Sonic's head, and the Sonic just couldn't find the momentum that he wanted. So it was a very strong game from Pelican.
Well, it has been very fun to cast this game, of course. Once again, I'm your host, Pharaoh Phantom, joined by Azure Melody. I'd like to hope everyone stays safe this weekend from these winter storms, and that I hope you all love yourself and have a good day.